Hello, my friends, and welcome to tonight's episode of the Strength of Thousands Adventure Path here on twitch.tv/tabletop rolls. Tonight, we are all hit like a truck and have been transported into another world where the time is 1 hour different than what it was
That's
before.
where you're going with that.
Hi, California. Can we make it so that we're like Arizona, but like only in this one aspect, please?
We keep
more daylight
voting
savings
to
time.
do that and then not doing it. And
And
I,
then not
for
doing
one,
it.
would like my vote to mean something for once.
Please, for the love of God. I don't care
In this
if the
political
sun
system?
takes. Anyway, it's a Monday. You know
It's a
what that
Monday.
means.
Strength of Thousands AP, but before we get into that, a few announcements. I'll do the really big congratulations to a member of our audience on Wednesday when I know they're here. But for now, other shows on the channel tomorrow night probably will be shorter because I have to be at work for 6:30 in the morning on Wednesday. But Data Fang and myself playing through Remnant 2. Then on Wednesday, Wild Ambition. Come see our Wild West Pathfinder 2e game.
Yeehaw.
There's a hole in the wall, and it's causing ocean water to flood the streets.
It is definitely not the being caused by like a titan or something.
Downside,
Spaghetti-O.
downside, people might drown. Upside, Roadkill Fairy is going to have a lot more seafood to make.
Assuming she doesn't also drown.
Yes.
Yes.
Then on we only see Calf's lower half, and that's why this is even funnier to me.
This man put baked beans in a cup. A cup!
I mean, I've had lentil soup in a mug.
Oh, that is so fucking foul. That is so fucking foul.
Why?
Ugh. Look at it. Look at it. What do you mean, why?
beans.
Look at it.
It's beans.
Please show the beans.
Ugh.
The beans.
The beans have do the beans have physics.
I wanna die.
Calf is just doing their best to make it so Kiara goes nowhere near
No,
Ophelia.
get that shit out of here.
I support you, Cav.
Never show your face in the Zoom call again.
Me or him?
Tabletop Bros, Cup of Beans week, everyone.
Oh my God! So your baby just turned her head, and all I saw was eyes.
I'm disappointed in your father.
Then on speaking of disappointment,
Where are you going with this?
I
Will?
don't know where I can go with that.
Tread carefully.
Yeah.
It was disappointing that I was running late last week, but this week will be on time, I swear, for the Astro Calling on Friday night.
Okay.
It's our spell jamming
You heard it here
spectacular.
first.
We'll be on time this week. I hope.
No.
I
Then,
make no promises.
well, Maya's back this week,
Oh, that's true.
and that's really exciting. And, you know, hopefully everyone will be there and we'll get to have a good time with all of our friends. Speaking of good times with your friends, Saturday, Baldur's Gate 3 with the Tabletop Bros. Join us as we continue to work through Act 2. What will happen? Who knows? We're going to probably go talk to a doctor at some point. That'll be fun. Then,
That's
Sunday, Cozy Co-op. Except Cozy Co-op special this week. Because, you know, there's still a week until Stardew Valley's update comes out. So we're going to be jumping on to the Minecraft server. And playing some Minecraft together.
To re-download Minecraft. Oh no.
Well, specifically just Vault Hunters.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah, that's
it's funny you should say that. Well, I'm going to say, Sarah, it's not as bad as me reinstalling Fallout 4.
Woo!
Did our Commander game make you want to play Fallout 4, Matt?
I mean, it's been brewing for weeks.
That's fair. Speaking of brewing for weeks, I'm sure Matt has had their plan for their introductions tonight, going for a long time. So, Matt, it's your turn. Go ahead, friendo. Do your thing.
You fool! I never have plans. It's all off the cuff. But speaking of cuffs,
You're so
I have
smarter
cuffs
than me,
because
then.
I'm wearing a big sweater tonight. Hello, everyone. I am Matt, or Urbanoff, various places on the internet. I'm here to guide these mysterious miscreants through their adventures through the Magambia, the premier magic academy in all of Galeria.
I don't know if I'd call us mysterious, just miscreants.
Proving that mystery can be maintained even when saying, I'm not mysterious. Sarah, please introduce yourself and your character. Thank you for volunteering.
I don't know how mysterious I am. I wear myself on my sleeves. Hi, everybody. I'm Sarah Margaret. I am playing Charlotte, the naughty toxicologist. You can find me on Big Red Cat Photography on the TikTok and the Instagram. I do photos and things and stuff. This past weekend, I was fighting the swords, bringing back my roots. Felt very Vikinger. Anyway, yeah. So that's me. Was there a question?
The question this week is...
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be a simple one. If you could have some form of invisibility magical item or artifact of some kind, what would it be, and what would be the specific conditions of the invisibility be? Does it only affect you? Is it like a blanket of invisibility? Is it a hat? Is it a ring? What would be your preferred invisibility?
Probably blanket. I like a good blanket cloak. It's my go-to in the mornings, especially when I don't want to get out of bed, but I have to at 5 a.m. in the morning. So I usually cloak myself in my fuzzy blanket and walk around. I have done that since I was a toddler, and I won't break that even if I am 30. Why?
Fun things with blankets when we were children. I would often wrap myself in one and move to the basement to watch cartoons like an inchworm.
Now that's a visual.
That is a
It was
visual.
It was down a side of stairs too, so just like thump thump thump.
Oh, I love the
Oh.
thump, 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 thump.
Used to do that in sleeping bags for sure.
But speaking of invisibility and mysterious, for the one person in the call tonight who is doing their absolute best to blend into the background, McKenna, with your green shirt and background, please introduce yourself and your character.
Hello, everyone. My name is McKenna Ray Tynan of McKenna Ray Art on all of the places. And tonight I am playing Avi, the Nyctera Witch, as well as her familiar, Agate. As for an invisible item, I think I'd like it to be an earring, something nondescript. If that comes at a caveat, I mean, ideally, if I'm putting it together myself, there's not going to be any caveats. But if it had to come at a caveat, I'd say it would be more effective at night. I just want to walk places by myself at night.
Too real.
That's all I want.
That one.
Nothing nefarious. Just to walk to places.
Without the lingering fear in the back of your mind.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if I'm 6 foot. Still
Yeah, you
there.
think you'd be like the last person on anyone's hit list in that regard, and yet
I have
somehow
a
it just
shy
emboldens
anxiety.
them.
I have a great deal of anxiety for new people in good circumstances.
Yeah.
But speaking of hiding, sometimes the best way to hide is to hide as something that is supposed to be there. Like Will, for instance, who is pretending to be a fire hydrant. Which are supposed to be there, so... Will, please introduce yourself, your character, and list what kind of invisible...
Hello.
Oh, the rage quitting is starting early tonight.
Oh, what?
My
Come
name is
haven't even
on.
gotten into the game.
Come back.
Well, we can't hear you over everyone else.
Tonight, I'm playing Igora, Gamma and Choco. The Gripply Summoner, his Eidolon, and his bestial companion.
Is what?
Will
His
has
friend.
become truly
You know,
invisible. I'm
some days,
impressed.
Chat. I just want to
Bestial.
rest after a long day. So I just put
Uh-oh,
on a
here we
nice
go.
red shirt and go. But since
It's a nice
Matthew
shirt.
has determined
Are you
that
changing the
he's going to be a
shirts?
complete
He didn't change. He just put a new shirt over it.
Well, don't get overheated.
You're still semi-red.
Matthew,
He'll match his shirt if he
Matthew,
overheats.
Matthew, you've seen how attractive I am. I can't be hot. But tonight,
I didn't say hot.
Oh.
Listen,
I said overheated. I sometimes get overheated sitting in this chair with these things trapping the hot air that's supposed to escape from my ears.
I'm getting overheated
uh.
from laughing so much.
Uh.
Please, can we keep
That is
going?
true.
All right.
Oh,
and
Will,
what's-
your
what's the-
invisibility.
Yeah.
Yes.
just being myself. No, that would be like that's the most like edgy 14-year-old answer. It would just be like a cellophane crown because I like the idea of getting to make a reference to a musical every time I turn invisible.
Mr. Cellophane.
It's a
Um,
classic.
But
It's
but
not even
last
a
but certainly
flannel,
not
it's
least,
just-
practicing the style of invisibility where you blind us with your brilliance so we can't see you because we can't see anything.
So Zoe gets
Zoe.
this one.
It's me, John Cena.
Without any
street.
clothes on. Because we are, in fact,
That was
avidly protesting for the union's rights for costume department. Yeah.
Ain't
Oh.
that the
Anyway,
truth?
I'm not John Cena. Surprise! I'm Zoe. I go by Zosie Pose, and I'm playing Ophelia. She's our Whisper Elf Bard, and she wears very cute outfits that were designed by McKenna Ray Tynan. So cute. That's it.
me.
And if I were to be invisible, I would like being invisible 24/7, like some My Hero action, just cause
Oh.
I feel like it would be fun.
The
So if I were
UHA
gonna take invisibility,
Will, okay,
all or
one,
nothing.
All or nothing.
don't put. I'm not saying you're correct, but don't drop potential spoilers in the chat. The
Do I
anime
need to
hasn't gotten
moderate,
there yet.
Will?
No,
Well,
I
I'm not
didn't
going to
put
confirm
anything
nor
into the
deny,
chat. I
Okay.
made an offhand comment. That was it.
but I caught it. And finally, for myself, I would like, in terms of
Thank you,
visibility, I would like a ring, but it doesn't turn me invisible if I just put it on. I have to twist it.
Ooh.
Oh.
I want an activation thing. I don't want it
Bop
to be
it?
just. It will have like one of those inner
Twist
parts that actually rotates while the rest of the ring doesn't.
A bop it.
Hold
where
it.
you-
Something that clicks into
bop
place.
Yeah.
A bop it that grants you invisibility, but you have to beat your high
Invisibility
score on it
bop
every
it.
time.
Also,
Oh, that's a dumb magic item idea.
has anyone ever heard of
I
a
want
novel
that.
called Across the Nightingale Floor?
What does that sound familiar?
No.
There,
Oh.
it is an interesting book set in a semi-fictitious version of, I think, feudal Japan. And one of the things that's very interesting about the setting and the title of the book is they have in this setting a kind of floor called a nightingale floor, which sings when you step on it, which makes it impossible for assassins to cross it undetected. And it's
What
not
is
magical
it?
or any way. It's just designed in such a way that when you step on it, it makes the sound. It's not like loud alarm like, but it is incredibly noticeable.
It's one of those park things.
Actually,
You know those little tiles at a park where they have the little bell
Oh,
on them and
yeah.
you step on them and they go ding, ding, ding. That's basically it.
yeah. The novel is also
fact.
weird because it contains like ninja eugenics, so tread at your own risk.
All right
Magic
then.
ninja eugenics.
I'm excited to take Matt and Emily to a specific park when we're down in LA.
Oh, which one?
There's this
Purposes.
like beautiful sort of like outdoor art museum park near in like just off of Lancashire that you can walk down.
But speaking of nice parks, you know how it has nice parks? The campus of the Magambia. So, Will, before we do the recap, why don't you go ahead and roll that intro?
Will we make it
Good
to
job,
space?
Mr. Kroll.
Survey says no.
Have any emote spot slots left?
Yes, we do.
Please don't make a bean cup emote.
No bean cup.
A bup.
Buff.
What it needs to be
Can
is
I get a
little
beans in the
teacup.
chat?
No.
It needs to be a little cup with a cat paw on it, and it says beans in a cup.
Emily, I'm begging you, please don't do this.
Oh, I can do it.
Artist, I'm artist strike right now. Right now.
This is the one time in the universe
be a
I might be a,
scab. Don't be a
I might
scab.
No, unfortunately, I think I'm part of the establishment, so I can't be a scab.
I
I'm
mean,
part of
technically,
management,
McKenna is
technically.
part of the management as well.
Ooh.
Ah!
If we're going with like,
I'll
technical
strike
things.
my own management. I don't give a fuck. Down with the system.
Yeah, what if cat beans? What if cat beans in a cup?
What if the beans in the cup form the shape of a cat?
Disembodied toe beans?
No, beans.
I wasn't one who was going to say it.
Anyway,
See, now I'm just
Kind of
imagining.
monstrous.
Beans. I just like saying the word
Matt,
beans.
what are we
It's
doing
funny.
here? What's happening?
There's a T-Rex loose.
Shit.
Okay.
And scene.
Avi turned to a dragon.
New choice.
Kaiju fight. Yes, and. But yeah, so when last we left our intrepid lore speakers of the Magambia, they had been preparing for a journey to the fabled doorway to the Red Star, which is supposed to lead them to some place that apparently old mage Chitambe is in. And is the founder of the school and one of the most famed and potentially powerful wizards in all of Galarian history. The school's kind of interested in maybe tracking him down, maybe get him to do a lecture or 10. But some research has been needed in addition to your actual responsibilities as lore speakers, teachers at the Magambia. You've had a whole semester of teaching to do. You've been helping around with various tasks. You solved a diplomatic negotiation with a dragon.
Yeah, we
For a
did.
randomly scattering magic item that got broken. You guys managed to both catch and redeem some sprightly stalkers of one of the teachers who were just a little too into one of the teachers, but they came around and now they're checking
I
out.
think they're auditing a class.
Yeah, they're auditing a few classes.
Yeah, they're auditing. Man, sprites are little weirdos.
I mean, some sprites are. You also took a impromptu field trip up a river to observe decomposing monster bodies.
That we did.
And then created a second one when another monster came and tried to, throw its weight around, quite literally. But you guys are like, no, chaperoned, away!
All in the name of learning.
Yeah. And in a little closer to home, you guys finally hosted the slumber party you had been sort of planning and looking forward to for a few weeks, where the now factory reset Mercedes
Factory reset. Oh,
avoided
poor girl.
avoided several times eating nuts throughout the evening, despite the fact that strange little mice in tiny uniforms kept secreting nuts into her bag and stuff.
Do we know where those were coming from?
You guys live in a tree library. There's lots of little holes. Thankfully, they're not filled with malicious bugs anymore, but now they appear to be filled with mice who have jobs.
Really passive aggressive mice who keep trying to kill Mercedes.
Who knows? Maybe the slightly more sinister Mercedes had a cult.
I'm just saying.
A
speak with
mouse cult?
Speak with animals is a very useful spell.
I can't speak to them. I was trying.
Yeah, they just kind of ran away.
Yeah.
They were very non-confrontational. And Igra, despite not wanting to attend the sleepover, managed to ensure that it went off without a problem by fending off various debtors and unsatisfied customers and involuntarily acting as sort of after-the-fact customer support. And by customer support saying, no, the manager is dead, get out.
Hi, I'm Igara. Welcome to the Black Hat. Can I take your order?
Oops.
Also, eating that one poor last night of a Bendigo.
Yeah, who's apparently
No,
trapped as a
I didn't
keychain.
eat them. Gamma ate them.
Same
Thank you.
difference.
No, we don't share a stomach.
Oh god,
Mechanically, it's the same.
Oh my
difference.
god, if you did.
I hope not. That was very quick, Sarah.
You're welcome.
Oh god, what did you do?
Also, now I've learned that you can post image links in the chat.
Oh my god, okay,
That's-
that is actually cute. Damn it!
Sorry, I'm horrified. I find that equally horrifying, if not
Are you
more.
letting it
Just a
st-
disembodied cat
Are
paw
you steeping
sinking
cat paws
into a
tea?
cup of tea like a
No.
fucking Terminator.
The cup is a portal to a cat dimension.
I'll be Nyat. I'll be Nyak.
No, I
Don't
heard
need-
you the
you
first
don't
time.
need to know. You don't need to know my rituals.
But
That theme
anyway,
ritual?
I'm gonna say the sleepover winds down unless there are any specific
Yeah.
party games you guys want to play or something, or you want to do your nails or read some books or something. I don't know what goes on at a slumber party anymore. I'm
I
old.
think at some point I want to ask her about the magic items I was able to find. Just to double check that she doesn't want those back.
Oh no,
and-
she immediately just says no.
That's kind of what we thought, but I just
I
wanted
feel
to
like you
make
did talk.
sure.
Yeah, I feel like you did mention something about the black hat in general, and she was very much like, nope, 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 nope.
I wanted to ask specifically before I retook, and also to see if there's no way she would know anything about the knife, but just in case. Yeah, that's what I thought. But
I mean, she knows
Worth
about the
asking.
knife that Snow gave her, and she just pulls out this elaborate-looking, like, little stiletto knife with, like, runes on it, for, self-defense.
Cool.
You hear
Obvious.
like a low moaning from the blade.
Why is it making that sound?
I think it's supposed to be intimidating.
It's
I think, hold on, kind of looks at this little dangling piece of paper off of it on a string. Oh, it's a dagger of mournful stabbing. It stabs you, and in addition to that, it makes you sad. Like, more so than being stabbed usually would do.
I see.
Oh, I was about to say.
Depression dagger.
Yes.
Okay.
Too
I
close.
don't know why she
Sorry.
had this, but
I imagine probably to hurt people.
Physically and emotionally.
I mean, have you ever heard her sing? I don't think she needs the knife. She looks around and like, hee hee hee.
I haven't heard her sing, but that was funny.
Ooh, we trash talk.
I mean, to be honest, she got her career as a bard started singing dirges at like raiders' funerals. She was raised in this like northern tribe as like a skald or something.
I mean, we can't fault her for that. You gotta take the work where you can get it sometimes.
I suppose, but still, that sounds miserable.
For the Raiders, yes.
Well, they liked it.
Okay.
To each their own.
They
The
were all
tea is
apparently-
scalding.
This does seem the most animated she's been almost, being able to dish about her longtime friends.
Oh, that is fun.
And Kilrog likes to act all standoffish and kind of like mean, but he like raises rescue direwolves.
Wargs.
Oh.
Orcs, thank you.
To correct that. To
That's
give chat
sweet.
context for that, Matt's Matt's Kilrog character in a game adopted 2 direwolf puppies.
Puppies.
So, what is next? I imagine this is sort of like the next morning. Everyone's packing up. What is
Igara's
next
coming back in.
for Miss Mercedes?
I'm going shopping today. We're getting me a new wardrobe.
Oh, fun!
Some frocks.
Oh,
Pushes her glasses up again.
I think that's going to look very, very nice. But bigger picture. What's your next steps?
I'm gonna devote some time to figuring an answer out to that question.
Nice.
Maybe
Maybe a more settled place than an inn in Begonia? Or just in general? Maybe
it'll have to be somewhere
rental?
adjacent to an inn, or Snow will
relatively
get-
close to a tavern, yes, I imagine.
Yeah. I don't know how exactly. How much? Yeah. I mean, she starts looking very thoughtful. What is the difference between renting a room at an inn and actually trying to purchase like a permanent residence? And she gets that look in her eyes, like mental math.
Credit.
She's
It
doing
goes on your
the-
credit.
Igara's come back in at this point, and I'm just standing there at the door. I just say, I'm going to hate myself for what I'm about to do. I'm going to hate myself for what I'm about to do. Technically we have free reign in this building, and there's like 2 spare rooms. So if you need a place to live while building up some sort of gold for a more permanent place, God, I can't believe I'm being the one to suggest this, but it's yours. And Igara walks into their room, and then you just hear screaming.
Screaming.
Big step for him.
Everyone who didn't just walk into the rooms, give me a quick perception check.
Hold on, I gotta actually pull up my sheet.
Technically, based on our floor plan, the rooms on either side of Charlotte are empty.
25.
So,
Oh boy!
Oh,
So-
Not
no.
perceiving.
Ophelia and Charlotte. At the mention,
Really?
Yes, it was a 26. At the mention, at the suggestion of Mercedes moving in here, her eyes flicker to Charlotte for a fraction of a second, and then her face goes a darker purple than it usually is.
get you a U-Haul.
She's like, "Well, I have to. I'll have to think about it and talk with the Lexi and Blacktusk. Thanks. Have a nice day." She kind of runs out the door.
Oh,
Poor teacher. Just saying. But Avi didn't see
No. Oh no.
so
As
cute.
Charlotte goes another shade of yellow on her cheeks. Because she has the little yellow dots.
Oh,
They just look a
That's
little
true.
bit more yellow.
Oh.
Igara comes back out after their scream.
Hi, Igara.
That was a good thing that you did, Igor.
It is an objectively necessary thing to do. I feel
That was
that is not a good thing. That is just basic humanoid decency.
I disagree. It was not necessary. She could sell stuff from the Black Hat and make a very good living until she got a more permanent residence. But she doesn't really want anything to do with the Black Hat, so I think it was very kind of you.
Endures in
offer her
Darkness
this.
walks in with a tray half balanced on his head of coffee.
Thank you. I will partake in the coffee. Absolutely.
He grabs one, specifically a smaller one. This is my decaf.
Do you not do caffeine?
Understand.
No, and you notice he doesn't drink it either. He just sticks a finger in it, and it just slowly gets absorbed.
That doesn't necessarily surprise
Different.
me. What is your aversion to caffeine? Is it just is it a chemical, biological thing, or
I'm afraid I have an addictive personality.
Oh.
Hey!
Good to
And
know,
Charlotte
good
just
to
like
know.
pats him on the back and goes, "That was funny."
What?
Was that why you stick around us so much?
I'm not qualified to answer that question.
Do you need a meeting of some sorts?
I'm gonna go get some scones.
Yeah, hey, Enders,
Okay.
can you grab my... I put my
Uh,
coffee order in at the calf. Can you grab it for me while you're out, too? I'd appreciate it.
Sure.
Thank you.
For some reason, I'm now imagining he's got like almost like video game sound footprints. So it's like,
Oh, I always imagine Endurus having little like
Blap, 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 blap.
Fun fact, Igoro's coffee order is a glass of espresso this big.
Espresso?
Yeah,
Say that first syllable again.
espresso.
No,
Moving-
just the first syllable.
X.
Espresso.
pooh whip.
He said it even worse. S,
S.
not
You know,
X.
can
I
we-
would like to point out I am not partaking of this torture this time.
I just like one week, y'all. 1 week where I
I
can
don't-
just be happy.
Can you? I don't know. Can you give us a week?
Be happy.
I have to say though, calling it an espresso makes a lot more sense because when you have an espresso, you're like going
Makes you
full
go
on express.
Express. I did think
Chugga,
that's how it was
chugga.
pronounced as a kid.
I need some vodka.
Yes.
Will, roll me a D100.
Oh,
Vodka.
shit.
No, I just
Vodka.
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 Hey, you could make an espresso martini.
Oh, that.
you know what?
Punchy.
I've changed my
sounds
mind.
so
Give me
good.
belief.
71. In this world, it is espresso.
Fuck off. Don't patronize me, Matthew.
Da, 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 da. It's espresso now. Look,
it's
we
magical
can't have,
espresso,
we
it's
can't
espresso.
have real life.
Actually, that
things
might be a
in
fun
fantasy.
distinction. If it has magic in it, it's an espresso.
That's true.
Oh, you know
That's
what?
true.
I actually like
I think
that.
we're making.
I like that, yes,
We're
and.
world building here. I
World
like this.
building.
Yeah.
Let's
I'm
run a
gonna drink this
cafe.
candle I've been
Also,
burning.
speaking of the hot beverages, Webley has wrapped himself around your mug, Charlotte, to act as a tea cozy.
Not a tea.
Oh, I love it.
Is Webley still a
And-
spy?
No,
The room-
Webley,
The temperature in the room drops noticeably.
not a full spy, but was a spy, former
sorry, what?
spy.
Like
No,
Webley
it's
kinda looks up.
fine. Don't worry about it. And Charlotte like pats Webley on the head. Don't you worry about it. You're fine,
Just a good
Webley. Just
baby.
keep being you.
Okay. Hugs the glass even tighter. He could not break it if he wanted to. He has no bones.
All right,
He's a
going
s-
to Etsy, going back on Etsy to find my crocheted spider again. Here we go.
Oh.
I
The real
need a
question
Webley.
is he like made of like patchwork bits of cloth so he's all sorts of different colors?
I always saw him as like a crocheted little creature.
That's fair.
So like crochet and stuff. And then
Very
the
soft.
yarn is part of its legs. So it's like in sections.
Yes, actually, you're right. I did mention it was yarn because he used that for stuff. So,
Things
yeah,
and
the days before you guys, I'm going to say, because we did the sleepover, we didn't have the event for this week. This is the last week of the second month, so there's going to be another 2 periods after this where you guys will get 2 more chances to, well, actually, potentially just 1, to level your driving, and another 2 potential events. So there's this one and 2 more, and whatever you guys want to do in those 2 weeks. But at the end of this week now, unless there's something you want to do before the end of this week.
I don't think so.
Just,
No, I'm good.
I don't know. I just feel like that we're not doing anything about the cult. Not a thing.
Well,
It's stressing me
as a
out.
reminder, as a reminder, couple of facts. 1,
I can just start
Technically-
killing people in the streets. I'm okay with doing that.
All right, sailing right past that. One, technically speaking, there is no evidence or proof that any of the cultist members in the city has done anything illegal yet.
Yeah.
Number two,
No, that's part of the problem.
you guys actually all have a restraining order where you can't come in within 500 yards of any domicile owned or rented to the illuminated tree.
And that's what reach
I
spells
fight
for.
that. On the grounds
guys-
that I've actually never been anywhere near them. I can't speak for Igora.
No,
Um,
if you want to examine the paperwork again, it's mostly about you guys uttering threats.
I have actually done no such thing.
Do you guys want to read the paperwork?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right.
I've never harmed
Um,
another creature in my life.
So,
That was a joke.
one thing you do note that a lot of it lists a lot of comments and conversations you guys have had about the cult, and two things strike you. One, it's being rather generous interpretation that some of these conversations are even threatening, but they sound mildly conspiratorial, like you're going to do something about them or solve the problem or something. Like, they're not necessarily threatening, but apparently they've been interpreted that way. And second, some of these conversations quoted, there's absolutely no way they could have heard them, but they've got them line for line.
Right.
Oh, right. I forgot. We're not supposed to be drinking water. Water's bad.
We can drink water. We just need a metal straw.
Don't tell lies. Go to school.
Wear an
Don't
aluminum
drink
hat.
water.
On the way
Aluminum
out.
has not been invented. I am putting my foot down.
Wear
I,
a tin
I
hat.
maintain that Avi has actually
Pinball.
never said anything particularly bad about the
I'm-
cult beyond
listen.
the fact that they're a cult.
All I'm saying is on the way out of
Slander.
town, see some cultists, cast execute on our way out, leave.
Don't you think that'll make things worse when we come back?
I anticipate us having to murder. I anticipate us having to kill a lot of those cultists.
Well, if you're gonna do it, can't you just take out Tacky Hat first?
Yeah, I think that's the goal. We kill their leadership and then they spread to the winds.
Oh, she's not a leader. She's a pawn. Totally.
Yeah, but there's there's lieutenants in cults. Listen, at the top there's going to be the top. There's probably God Kiara, which is awful to say because that's a whole nother problem. Then after that, there's the lieutenants. Maybe you might call them harbingers or harbingers or whatever.
The
fuck
big
you
three.
say. It's really hard to say with this It's really hard to say things right in this dialect sometimes. But then there's that. That's where Bad Hat is. That's where I'm sure there's going to be some other equally designed villain that we'll have to deal with, and then from there there's the rank and file. And what we'll do is we brainwash one of the bottom people, and then we start making it so that bottom person that we brainwash can climb all the way up to the top of the
How
ladder.
long is that gonna
I see you,
Hey.
McKenna. I see you.
I mean,
All
depends.
these brainwashed bodies.
What's wrong
I'm
with
drinking
brainwashing?
water. I don't think you're landing on the correct word.
Brainwash.
bonk, bonk, bonk,
not the
bonk? All
correct
of you, all of you, bonk.
What the fuck are you?
What?
Not
I
you,
didn't
Will.
I didn't
Bev.
say anything.
We got the giggles
you.
tonight, apparently.
I think McKenna's
Don't
just
get the
fully
giggles.
lost it.
Giggles
What is
every
in that
night.
slime?
Glass bees. It's meant to look like Ikura. No,
Like
Stop
I'm
eating
sorry,
your
but
slime, McKenna. It's making you giggly.
I'm not.
Pat's got it.
Thank you, crazy got it.
Brainwash bottoms.
It was just something about you have to have the bottom climb all the way to the top.
Here, wait.
It's an effort.
That's
You gotta
funny,
have
but
you
then
gotta have
it was
consent
the-
from all sides.
If only there was a term about if you could change a bottom to something else. If only there was a term. For
What in
You have to be
the
more versatile.
what in the
Verse.
fresh Cooper hell is this?
it. He's always with us.
Always.
McKenna,
somewhere.
I just
Can't express to you enough how much there are real, actual live tears streaming down my face.
My work here is done.
I'm so sorry.
But I didn't do
I'm
anything.
just. This whole discussion is Charlotte is just calmly and quietly
I'm
finishing up her tea, having a scone.
I'm just
With a
saying, like,
spider hanging off of it.
I have cult
Avi's
experience.
not.
I know how to deal with cults. You just gotta kind of kill them most of the time. It's the only way to really deal with them. Because if you don't kill the cult, then their ideology continues to spread, and it's dangerous.
Yeah, but if you kill him publicly, Igora, it's gonna be a martyr situation. Also, killing is wrong.
Well, it's only wrong if they're bad, if they're not bad people.
I'm
I suppose, but we don't
I'm
know how many
going
of them are...
to. I hate to be that person,
I'm
but
just saying-
Igora's not wrong. If let's say, the idea behind a cult, especially a cult such as the Illuminated Tree, is primarily that, there is a sort of function in which higher ups induce or alter, followers.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say we would kill the followers per se, but there has to be some way for us to get to the top echelon to stop their plans of evil plots.
I mean, fuck it. We could just kill a
Yes.
god.
It should also be
I mean,
noted.
sure.
It should also be noted that it's very likely, especially at this stage, that the vast majority of the cult's followers here in Nantambu are Nantambu residents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not saying, like I
That's-
Just
said.
wanted some stew.
Well, I mean, if they're that far gone, you gotta take them out. Gotta do what you
Yeah.
gotta do.
They're only on
Ophelia.
tier 1. They haven't, bought
Yes.
into
No,
tier...
I'm not going to murder every cult. Like I say, I think we just kind of need to take a top-down situation here. We need to just murk some of the higher ups and let them dissolve from there. Because, yeah. Anyway,
While I am not...
That I think is more okay. But when you go on your rant, Igor, about murdering everyone,
well, because it's often the
That's-
only viable solution for me, unfortunately.
you should
I'm just going to
find
mention
ways-
something just as a DM in a way. It is notable, and this is sort of my fault because I every time you guys come back to the city or something, I drop a little crumb, then I yank you away.
Yeah.
Because you guys have time now during your semester here, like you have lunch breaks, you have evenings off, you have weekends and stuff, you have days where you don't have a class in a certain time slot of the day. If you guys wanted, and you've never really done this, you could go for a walk in the city and just walk around and just, make a full circuit of things and observe and actually gain some first-hand information as what is happening with all this, because you guys have kind of gotten all your information secondhand or things you've gleaned by looking at people as you've driven by in and out of the city.
We did do that once at the very beginning, but it's been a while since we've done that properly.
But also, now we can't get close to the people because someone
that's
decided to go and proletize in town square.
Well, just their buildings, not their actual people. I need folks who are walking around with leaflets. That becomes their own issue. On a technical
I
level.
think I need to send a letter.
Yeah, isn't your whole family kind of mixed up in this, Shar?
Are?
No.
No?
No. No.
No?
No. No.
Not that we would know.
Are.
No.
No.
Webley's
Since
looking
how
back
long
and
have you
forth.
been calling Charlotte Shar?
For ages. Like, literally for about... Looks up Baldur's Gate's release. A few months.
I don't know, seems suspicious.
I don't
Emergency
have
meeting.
a fun nickname.
You can go... Oh, do you... Okay,
That's
fun-
because Ophelia is the perfect name for you.
I don't know.
You
Like,
don't need to
Thea?
change it.
if I
Whatever.
use the same convention, your name becomes Oaf. Do you want me to call you Oaf, Ophelia?
No, I'll kill you.
Thank you.
You can
I-
call her Fifi.
Well, no, because I've shortened it to the beginning for Shar. So it would
That's
be...
gross.
Oh, sorry.
Will, I do like to point out that you make the rules for your naming conventions. You can break them.
No, they're set in stone.
Singer is set in stone for
Look,
He
nicknames.
goes
This
to
is
his
how
room, brings out a
nicknames
big
work.
stone with
I
written on it. What
like
the
a full.
hell?
Listen, I was writing on. I had an idea and I wrote it on these stone tablets, and it's literally set in
Lord.
stone.
No,
Tom,
I
a
have to derail
coughs up a
us a
chisel.
little bit further because I kid you not, growing up in a small town in my school, in my elementary school, there was a total of 6 girls. That's it, in my class. 6 girls.
And all were
And
named
one of the
Sarah.
girls wanted to create nicknames for all of us for the fun of it, but her nickname naming convention was only the first syllable of people's names. So we had Taylor became Tay, Cecily became Sassy, and Sarah became Sare.
Avi
So-
becomes Av.
So Avi is Avi.
Igora having a specific rule set for nicknames for people is not that far of a stretch for me.
Anyway, I do kind of want to see if we can fight the charges just on account of, like, I don't know if they have any actual evidence that we said these things. And if they did, it would also be evidence that they were listening in and spying on people. Also, if they are filing reports about us, I think we need to file a report about them for attacking us outside of Jula, which is not technically within the jurisdiction of Nantambu, but it is worth reporting, I think.
Do you guys want to maybe talk to because you guys know there is a person on campus for this. The school has a legal advisor.
But they don't have a nurse.
Yeah, we're talking to the legal advisor.
Sure, I will talk to the legal advisor. Anyone who wants to come with me can come with me.
The legal advisor is a kindly old goblin. She is getting on in years, but she has some very small librarian spectacles with a chain, and she has like numerous books kind of dangling from her belt on chains. You've heard tell of this person. Her name is Glabella. She is actually sort of an innovator because she is kind of developing a type of magic based around law.
Ooh, that's fun.
What in the Gideon Jura?
Yeah, the Azorius would like her. Or was that Sphinx's name? That jackass.
I did it.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
And yeah, and she tells you that
Watch McKenna get Gale.
mixing kind of the reason that her post kind of exists at all is that while the Magambia trusts magic and like, oh, Zone of Truth, that would be the perfect thing for courtroom deliberations and stuff, and like minor illusion, so you can show a crime scene or something in detail. Problem being that a lot of the officials of law in Nantambu itself are often very distrustful of magic. They're very kind of set in their ways. They've been in their positions for quite a while, and they don't trust things that cannot be easily quantified. And magic
Can't be
for all of
easily
its
quantified.
rules and stuff can often be very fluid and everything, and people can just make new spells sometimes, and it's hard to get a good catalog of spells for laws and everything. So they are slowly working at it. That's another job her post is. She works several times a week with people from like the judicial branch of the city, sitting down with them and explaining how spells work and how they might be abused or how they can be consistently used in certain ways. So the point she's trying to reach is, you guys are all powerful practitioners of magic and you have other skills and the like. Sadly, most of those will not translate well into a court setting that will be admissible. You guys aren't necessarily versed in legal rules and precedents and the like. It's just a knowledge that you guys don't have. It's not, and it's something you can't really improvise either, because you'll say something really convincingly, and they say, "Okay, yeah, but you didn't follow the procedure here, so the jury is advised to ignore that entire statement." So, like, you could make a natural 20 persuasion check, but if it's in the not in the right context or not in the right order, it won't have as much effect as you'd think.
Well, that's why we're here. Because
And
I
she is
imagine
more than willing
know
to
those
help
things.
you, but she just wants you guys to be fully cognizant of the limitations of what can possibly be achieved, especially in a short term. She was informed of the restraining order after you guys were, which she finds the timing of pretty funny, but not in a ha-ha funny. And she went over the documents that the court provided, which are more in depth than the paperwork you got. They had been working on this before you guys left for Osaibu.
So the laws of the land do not allow for justice to be done.
That's not what she
See,
said.
now that's
know,
the kind
I'll
of thing
be-
I wouldn't
I'll-
say in the court.
I'll you know what, y'all do this. I'm going to go and I'm going to go.
Don't do anything illegal. She smiles.
Sure.
Illegal.
I'm gonna go with Igora too.
Okay.
Did you follow them?
Did who?
The two that just left.
Well, this whole thing got handed to me after Igor went and yelled at a couple of the people handing out pamphlets in the town square for reasons that I don't truly understand.
Yeah, that's sadly just probably adding them more ammo.
I know, but technically I haven't said anything. So I don't know how this applies to me. Additionally, they did attack
same.
us outside Jula. And there should be, if they can just say that we said these things and get a restraining order, then can we not do the same thing to them?
Well, I haven't been.
Is
I
there
haven't.
no
Sorry.
circumstantial evidence? I mean,
Well, this is the thing. You guys have not been convicted of a crime necessarily. They have asked for a restraining order simply because they feel threatened in terms of discussions that have happened within your group. It should be noted, this is not against any one of you. It is actually against all of you as a group.
That's
And just
annoying.
because some of you have said the threats and because you guys are seemingly seen as a group is why some of you who haven't explicitly made any sort of threats or anything are now grouply implicated because you are part of this group.
Are there
how
not
is
rules
that
against
fair in the
collective
justice
punishment?
system?
Yes, in our classrooms.
Wait,
you guys
this seems like a humongous flaw in the justice system.
You would be correct.
Okay.
Anyway, if we can't fix the restraining order, I think the least we could do is get our own restraining order against them.
Actually, and she kind of holds up her glasses, you actually technically won't have to do anything.
Oh?
There
Come
is a clause in here in the paperwork I was provided with that goes into greater detail, and it actually mentions that because they have only sought a kind of preliminary or sort of trying to think of the legal words for this, an early restraining order with just some complaints that they have brought in and stuff and things they've said, they have not provided sufficient hard evidence that this is going to stick. And because they haven't already, I have severe doubts that they're going to do it at all. This seems to be just a stopgap measure. They potentially, I don't know why they want it happening now, but they just want you guys kept away from them for however long this is going to last. It has an expiry date.
That's a little. Charlotte bends way down and goes, "That's a little sus, Avi.
Well, let's keep them away from the Gambia then. Because I think if they can do that, then we can at least do it back.
You can rest assured the school, even while you guys were gone, none of the school administrators were leaning in the direction of allowing any sort of their presence on campus. It is a strict policy that even organizations that are supposedly benevolent can't canvass on campus. We like to keep non-magical school ideologies off of campus grounds. People can have as many arguments as they want about conjuration versus illusion as they want. I think there's a debate happening in the hall right now. Something like
fine.
imagination versus substance or something.
But I think it might be not a bad idea to get it on record that we were attacked.
Oh,
And
well,
we should have done it earlier.
She kind of she kind of wiggles some fingers, and a kind of sapphire looking quill kind of pulls out of a thing, and a piece of parchment floats in the air, and it like starts taking like stenographer notes or something. If you want to dictate a statement at the moment, I can get it submitted before the end of today.
Absolutely.
Gladly.
It would have been better to
You
have
guys turning
Igra
to the
here
exact
for
page
this.
it happened.
I will consult with Charlotte.
While you guys are doing some excellent bureaucracy in there, Igra and Ophelia, how many orphanages have you burnt down?
So
At least two.
So Ophelia, what do you
Yeah.
think is more your color? Like, are you more of a red? Are you more of like a black leather or a red leather? I'm doing
Oh,
purple. I'm doing purple for mine. And
For what?
for my plan. Well, see, if the justice system isn't working, then there needs to be like maybe a person, and then
Super
Igra's
justice.
just like going into their bag, and they pull you into like a side room, and they put like this like hat on, and like they put a mask on over their face.
Does the mask have a zipper?
No,
You still look like
I know. I'm going
to
to.
disguise my Gripply friend.
Yeah,
You're very
I got more. I'm going to put
recognizable.
on this like purple like trench coaty thing, and then there we go. It has a cape. Now I'm a vigilante. Great.
Well, you can't have another
no
subclass
No capes.
archetype.
No cape.
But I'm the frog that croaks in the night.
You can croak
You-
without a cape.
I'm the
You
burnt
don't need
piece
it.
of meat in the stew of evil.
Oh lord.
Listen, I'll tell you right now. You don't have hair, and that's a good thing, because if you did, it would be pullable. Guess what else is pullable?
He's very rubbery. You could grab
A
like
cape.
It's a no
It's
cape.
tacky.
It's
It's tacky.
I can never have any fun.
Calf, are you
Alright,
bringing more
no
beans?
cape.
The Wadas.
the water of beans.
Calf is bringing the hydration.
Yes, if you're
What a
bringing
good
more
calf.
beans.
What a good calf.
Take your plate, though.
Sure, thanks.
You're not gonna eat the
We
beans.
appreciate
No.
calf on this stream.
No.
All the beans,
Yes.
honey.
Huh? What?
I thought you like baked beans, just not any other.
Yeah, they're
beans.
fine. Do you have a hand? Well, don't play. Don't let this
Just don't let us distracting, guys. Keep going.
I mean, it's a no cape.
I have to.
So no
I
cape, no
suppose
beans. You guys are so hard to
It's
please.
so much.
black.
You're going with black, okay? Because like I figure like vigilantism, right? Like that's the way to do this.
Yeah.
Endures
About
in
that,
Darkness is ready. He's got like a bucket of black paint, and he's like, pour it over my head.
Yeah. No, I mean
yeah.
technically
So
I
you
don't-
can what?
Healthy
Disguise
person.
yourself as a
Wait.
ninky cap?
If we didn't, I don't think we have to pour it over your head in Endures in Darkness. I think you can just sort of like absorb it into yourself to temporarily dye yourself. It works with roses. It's how you get blue roses.
Bless you.
And other
Cute.
colors.
I'm allergic to whatever is going on here.
To beans and cup.
To be fair, Endures in Darkness is not a very
Beans.
stealthy character, so
Yeah.
if there's going to be some sort of vigilante stuff, he probably shouldn't be involved.
I'm just saying it's an idea. It's an idea that actually
Unless
gets
you need
work.
a giant fungal dragon, he can turn
It's,
into a dragon.
it's an
too.
idea that gets work done in a relatively quick manner. Now, if Avi were to find out, or Charlotte were to find out, I would definitely get in trouble.
Have you been
Because-
doing this before?
I wish I've had. I was
Oh,
going to.
okay.
I was going to go out and do it during the slumber party, but for some reason, I decided it'd be better to stop it from being interrupted by all the former Black Hat patrons.
Oh, is that what all that
That's
yelling
literally
outside
what I was
about?
doing all night, Ophelia.
Take a point of exhaustion. No.
You're such a gem.
I am so angry about it. Anyway.
Well, let's go let out some anger, I guess.
I mean, it's still daytime. Technically, it's something I have to do at night because, like, you can't do vigilante justice during the day.
It is a scorcher out.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
You know how much I would sweat in this leather? It'd be like wearing
Do you-
it would be like wearing 2 shirts for like an hour and a half. You'd just be uncomfortable
you
the entire
sweat?
time. Yeah. Frogs sweat. Frogs
Mucus.
do. Frogs do in fact sweat. Yeah, like look, it's like, see?
Is mucus. Haven't you ever seen
Oh.
Princess and the Frog?
You should wear some something for
I
that.
can't. If I do that, I will literally die
Oh,
because my skin dries out. Then I shrivel, and then I turn into, I don't know. Where's there dried? Fucking. There's
I
no.
see. Okay, well, don't do that then.
Yeah, I don't want to die today.
Anyway, I guess we can go work on these. I suppose they're not costumes. But
Yeah, they're costumes.
They're costumes.
They're costumes. It's really cool.
Okay.
Aw, he's trying.
Let's go work on them.
All right, you guys give me a crafting check. Oh,
I
Oh God.
want to keep it.
This is going
you somehow accidentally sew the cape into the costume.
this is going to be the most.
I want to think that Ophelia gets to work making her costume, and by the time she's done with it, it is bright pink. She has
Like,
forgotten that this is a stealth mission.
Yeah. You by the time you realize this, you're like already got like a handful of sequins you were about to like apply. Like, oh no.
Like bedazzle.
What were we
Ophelia,
doing?
that looks really good. You should use that for performance stuff, Ophelia.
Knock,
Yeah?
knock, knock.
Yeah. Hello?
You hear Endures in Darkness like, oh, I'll get it. He's also your butler.
I thank you, Endures in Darkness, Frid.
He does like to serve.
Endures in
That's
Darkness.
Serve.
I mean,
He
it
gives
is
acts of
it is
service.
literally his job. It is
Serve
literally his job.
moss.
His job is to be a TA and also a student.
I mean, isn't his job to do what is necessary? He'll go pick up your dry cleaning bees. That's his job.
I like to
make your job
think
easy.
that
Likes it.
he has personal lessons with each one of us for the specific nature in which we teach. So
Except
he
for
does
Ophelia.
actually gets lessons.
That's how he gets his bonus dedications. From you
I'd
guys.
also like to think that, and I'm just saying this now, I do not specifically send Endures of Darkness to do things that could easily be done by Igora.
You literally sent him to go get your espresso this morning.
I said if you're going back there, if you could grab it for me. I did not send him there. I would have gone and gotten it myself.
He
Um,
was going in that direction, McKenna.
He comes back. I'm sorry to interrupt the costume workshop. He says,
Yeah.
question mark evident in his sentence.
We're having a masquerade.
But lore speaker Lesedi is here. And Lesedi,
Oh.
you guys know, is an elf here at the school who is a well-known summoner, and they specifically specialize in extraplanar creatures and portals.
Oh man, they're way better at this
this
than
is
me.
important.
Space.
Yeah,
They're still at the door.
Ophelia, stop for time.
hello.
I gotta change. And then Igora just like,
Da-la-la-la-la.
We don't have to stop.
Wonder
It's fine. Hi.
I was thinking of the
Come on
spinning Batman thing. Endures in Darkness shows the elf lore speaker to a table and waddles off to make some tea or something. She has come to ask for assistance and to offer her assistance because she heard you guys are preparing for some expedition to do with the doorway to the Red Star. Portals to strange and dangerous areas are her speciality, though she'll be upfront with her knowledge of Akaton is limited. During her introductory comments, as she gratefully accepts her tea, she does mention that space travel would perhaps have been a more superior route to pursue to the red planet that might lie beyond the doorway, had the nascent spacefaring technology of the nation of Lugern not been destroyed a century ago by the Eye of Abendigo, the forever hurricane off the coast. No one likes the Eye of Abendigo. It's a jerk.
It spews demons out sometimes.
Yeah. And destroys, apparently, spacefaring civilizations.
Dang, that's wild.
Yeah. But she is here mostly to ask for a favor from all of the group. Before you go on your globe and extraplanar expedition, possibly. She is hoping to get some assistance, and she says this in the most respectful way, assistance, like plural, in her advanced summoning class. She wants to show her class a conjuration ritual in progress, including the results. She can't, unfortunately, fit an entire day's worth of a planar binding or similar ritual into a single class session. It takes 8 hours. What she's going to ask you guys to do is she's going to schedule her class so that you guys do the ritual, and then the last hour her class shows up. She gives sort of an hour-long preamble and discusses what the spell is and everything, and then just as your ritual is about to end, she opens a curtain and the results of your summoning are showed off to the class. She had, I'm just checking.
Yeah.
What does this entail?
She has a specific thing in mind. She wants you guys to summon a specific thing with planar binding. A Liland Azata. And then to request the Azata to perform a short concert of haunting Elysian music. She can teach this ritual to you guys if needed. And she'll provide, of course, all the casting materials and costs for this ritual out of the class's budget. Yeah.
We have a budget.
Would we know what a Leland Dazata is?
Give me a quick second and give me because this is an extraplanar entity, I would say Arcana or
It depends on the
Religion, possibly.
type of
Give me a
creature
quick
it is.
second. I'm just.
If you tell
Make
me
sure
the
I get
tags,
this
I
right.
can tell you what it is.
Yeah.
I love rolling 2 nat ones in a row.
Ooh.
So, they are an outsider, an Azata, a Liland. This creature has the body of a seductive winged elven woman from the waist up, and that of a snake from the waist down.
Oh, that's
They
cool.
are chaotic good, large outsiders.
Chaotic good, large outsiders.
Okay.
So that's
And
all
the-
the tags.
and what- The
Give me-
ritual is just
Chaotic good,
summon...
large outsider, Azata, chaotic, extraplanar, good. So
So
this
that
might
would be
PF1.
religion or
Hold on.
occultism.
Yeah, level 7. Pardon me. No, these are the languages it knows. Yeah, chaotic good, large, Azata, celestial.
1 second.
So I'm going to say this would
It's
actually
a
probably
celestial.
be...
It's religion.
Yeah, all right.
Ah.
Lamau.
Problem with that is that none of us have stats and proficient in religion that I think we need to.
Actually,
Endures does, doesn't it?
Endures does.
Endures rolls a 32 because he has
Heck
26 in
yeah.
religion.
Nice.
And
Um,
I also know a thing about religion.
Ah, okay, Ophelia.
Lilins in general are tale tellers, chroniclers, and champions of freedom of expression. They are generally peaceful, but are quick to act if a masterful piece of art is threatened or free speech is suppressed. They pride themselves on inspiring mortals to greater heights of expression and creativity. and more than one bard looks to Lilend as their personal inspiration. Sometimes they secretly follow the adventures of mortal heroes to record their stories as epic poems and songs, which they then performed to the packed mead halls of Elysium. When pursuing such goals, Lilends take pains to use their innate spells to remain in hiding, as they would rather observe and record events without polluting the narrative.
Ooh, Ophelia, you'd be a great one for them.
Nevertheless, a Lilend who sees their charge faced with certain death often cannot resist the urge to intervene and save the day. Inevitably, this brings a close to the Lens Chronicles as the relationship with their subject inevitably shifts from one of detached observation to friendship or more. Yet Lilends remain hesitant to involve themselves for overlong in a mortal's life, in part because they fear what sort of fiendish attention their presence might attract, but mostly out of respect for the mortal's own destiny. A Lilend would, at all things being equal, prefer to let mortals choose their own fate rather than to run the risk of sending someone down a path to which their heart is not set. So they've got like a prime directive going on, but they're also, chaotic good, so sometimes they say, "Damn it, I'm doing what's right, Spock."
Oh, I like them. They're cool looking.
Yeah.
So they basically want you guys to do a planar binding to summon one of these things and then ask it to do a little concert.
Nice.
That should be fun. I mean, we're not there, but that would be fun.
Yeah.
Unless it goes terribly wrong.
Out of curiosity, again, I'm not there, but she mentioned that if we helped her, she could help us. But what with?
Or
Or was she just saying that?
she's kind of
No, the understanding, she's a specialist in the extraplanar, things, right? That's what
she
you said?
can kind of give you guys unspecified assistance.
I would like to help the
Yeah.
other summoner elf.
Gives you the secret summoner handshake.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not there, but Avi's in.
All right, so a couple days pass. The day of the class, you guys are given special passes. Someone else is going to take over your class for time, or you try and coordinate it when you have a free period or free 8 hours. And we're going to do let me see. Endures in Darkness is going to need to help because we need a primary caster and 4 secondary casters.
Jesus. And what
What's
are the stats for secondary casters?
Secondary
What are those
checks are actually quite a varied things. Secondary checks are going to be crafting, diplomacy or intimidation, arcana or occultism.
What's the primary checks?
Now it should be noted, whatever the primary one is, it's either going to be arcana master or occultism master. Whichever one you choose, you can't use that as a secondary.
Oh,
Okay.
well, if it's occultism that can be used for primary, I have a plus 28 to that. Or does it have to be religion?
Nope. None of these actually have to be religion.
Cool.
Yeah, this is a planar binding thing. So this is a magical ritual. It's not. You're not trying to ask them to come down. You're actually trying to summon them. Just summon them.
Summoning rituals that are intelligence based when summoners are charisma class.
Hey.
I mean, you have intimidation, right?
Yeah, but I can't be the primary, and that makes it sad. Anyway, we got diplomacy and intimidation, so that's fine.
And crafting for the secondaries as well.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
I mean, if there's any chance of you having an alchemist party in your party, if you don't put crafting in your rituals, they'll just have nothing to do during them. That's why all the ones in League had crafting in them, because then Cooper had stuff to roll.
Yeah.
I have to check something because the AP itself doesn't have. Okay, so this is only an uncommon ritual, so.
This is
You
planar
guys-
binding.
Yeah, planar binding. It's ritual 7, I think. Pardon me, ritual 6. So it's a level 6 ritual. I feel like it should just be the DC for your level. Or is it for the spells level again?
For rituals?
Yeah.
I feel like it should be for the spells level.
Well, if it's anything like how we do it with Lorgar, it's going to be spells level with a...
Yeah, so there is like specific ritual rules. They were changed ever so slightly in the core, so I'm going to actually have to pull up the player's core quickly.
Hold on, I got it.
Get that info.
All right. Let's see. Yeah. Sorry, the thing, I thought the thing would provide the DC for it.
No, they don't do that. They make you look. Standard DC is for a level twice the ritual spell rank. So
12.
it becomes a DC 12.
Oh, that's still below your level, so that
Yeah.
won't be too hard. Difficulty by level.
And this is planar binding,
Yeah, so 6. So
which
it'll
is
be
now
12.
called Binding Circle in the
Fair enough.
remaster rule set.
I think that'll be DC 30 for everything. It should be.
Okay.
Though. Okay. So, who's going to be the primary Arcana or Occultism caster? It has to be a master in it.
I have a plus 28 to occultism if anyone can beat that. Speak now or forever hold your peace.
I'm not going to say you would have to roll as something to do that because that's how you summon those specific numbers.
Yeah.
I had the same thought and also shut my damn mouth. So
I've played tabletop games for years involving like D6 and stuff. Anything but a 1. Never say that.
yeah, never.
All right, so
I
we got
think I might
primary
be
caster.
primary.
Obvious
All right.
primary.
All right, so I guess we're just going to go around the table then. I'm going to start with McKenna for primary. Please roll Arcana or Occultism.
Start with secondary.
37.
That is a success.
Let's see if we can get it to critical.
Just double checking. Not a critical success, but a
No.
success. All right, so Ophelia, do you want to do a, let's see, crafting, diplomacy, intimidation, or occultism check for
Arcana
secondary?
check. Because
Pardon?
you said that the one that Avi could use.
Oh yes,
PvP.
sorry.
Yeah.
Or Arcana, yeah.
I'll do
I got in my head she
diplomacy.
had rolled Arcana. Diplomacy? Okay.
Nice.
That is a critical success.
So Avi's,
Yes.
Avi's roll gets a +2 from that.
That becomes a 39.
So close to a crit.
Charlotte, would you like to roll crafting? Which I like to think.
Yeah.
Which I like to think it means you like. Okay, guys, this is all very magic and stuff. Your circles are drawn terribly. Just let me get my
Yeah.
tools.
I would like to point out that Charlotte now has the feat craft anything and magical crafting, so
Nice.
Can someone sing craft anything?
craft anything. Yeah, so I'll just roll a crafting check. 42.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's
that
another
gets us
crit
to-
success.
And that
You
brings
better.
it +2.
Officially
So,
crit on this.
so it's
unless
41.
someone-
Endures.
Okay. Endures is. Oh boy, what is Endures gonna roll?
Wood, friends, knock on wood.
He's also gonna roll crafting. 34. Success, but not critical.
no problem.
Iguro will do diplomacy. People get mad when he uses intimidation for things.
36. That's a success.
Not bad, not bad, not
Rachel
bad.
gets, I think, critically succeeded because you boosted McKenna's roll to a 40 at least.
41.
Woo!
Yeah. All right. So you guys are back
Crafting.
there. You guys are behind a stage curtain and behind a kind of a magical muffling spell, so the sounds around you don't interrupt your ritual because you're in there for 8 hours doing all sorts of crazy stuff.
Give a little dancey dance.
I'm the great and terrible Oz.
The
Ozzy,
final
Ozzy.
hour draws near, and you guys imagine that the class is sort of reaching the point where they're explaining what they're here for today and what's maybe going on behind the curtain. and in a spray of light and a kind of gentle explosion of wind, a blinding light appears in the center of your circle, and the Iland kind of appears, sort of sitting on their back, feeding themselves like a bowl of grapes, and then like, oh, hello.
Hi. Sorry about your grapes. Didn't mean to interrupt.
And because you guys succeeded so well at the check, you don't even have to do the diplomacy check to get them to do the concert. They
Woohoo!
compliment you though on your spell work. That was the smoothest and gentlest summon they've ever had. And they're like, "Oh, delightful! Would any of you like to participate?"
I just step aside and gesture at Ophelia.
Ophelia just like curtsies.
Have
I'd
fun,
be delighted.
Ophelia.
And they kind of like move their hand through the air, and you are like buffeted up into the air to like, because they're a little big. They want you up at like eye height with them though, so you're like gently floating in the air, ribbons of like magical air kind of going around you, gently like
That's so
waving
fun.
your hair in the wind.
That's fun.
Yeah, and because you guys succeeded at the check on more than expected, yeah, wonderful concert is done. It is a huge hit with the students. They are so grateful afterwards, both the summoned and the teacher for your help. The Liland gives you all a little kiss on the forehead before she departs back to her plane, and kind of says, "I'll be watching your adventures with great interest."
She gives me like big Great Fairy Fountain vibes.
Yes.
That's kind of the visual in my head.
The first thing that came to my mind was that one robot in Futurama that's like constantly eating grapes. for some
Hedonism
reason.
bot?
Yeah.
Jambi, the chocolate pudding.
Don't know why, but hedonism bot. It was like,
Listening to your summoning ritual was like dipping my bottom in a pool of the silkiest oils and creams. I love
hate
hedonism
what
bot.
just happened. I hate what just happened. I love Butch though. Hi Butch. Hi baby. Hello, sweet round friend.
Butch.
Little face,
She's
little
purring.
toes.
Oh.
That is the roundest cat I've ever seen in my life, and I own Pepper. So
I took her, she went to the vet yesterday, and the vet tech just like came in and said, "I saw her picture and the thing, and I just want to come and squish her." And she's like, "Might I squish her?" And I'm like, "I'm sure she'd love that." And this vet tech just picks her up and goes, "Oh, I love her." And I'm like, she gets that a
Just-
lot.
so squeezable. She's just so squeezable. I hope, Matt, when you come down, you have the opportunity to give Butch a good squish. It
Okay.
is.
I may cry.
Oh.
It has been, oh god, over 10 years since I have been anywhere near a cat.
Matt, we'll fix that.
My neighbor
Yeah,
across
you-
the street at one point had a house with like so many cats, and they all had distinct personalities. One of them wasn't very friendly. One of them would walk into walls.
You mean
I've got a
per-
couple of those.
You mean personalities?
I've only
Oh
ever been
my
near
God.
a kitten once in my life, and I nearly died. I was like,
Have you not made it to the cat cafe yet, Matt? Oh well, now Emily has an excuse to go to the cat cafe again. So good job.
I'll just fall onto the floor and start weeping.
I'm sure they're used to that too.
They're doing a very successful job. They have found homes for a lot of their cats.
Oh,
Good.
for them.
Good for them. Where were
Also,
we?
whoever runs their Instagram is really good because it's always very fun. But yeah, you guys complete event number 4, Assistant Summoner. Or Assistant...
And nobody
duty.
died.
No one
And
died, no one got
nobody
restraining orders, no one was traumatized by memories of a strange life they once knew.
Yay!
Wait.
Strange life.
So we enter into the start of the 3rd month.
Ooh.
All
right.
Gonna
Let's
have
take those driving lessons. Get those out of the way.
anyone who
immediately.
has not yet achieved master in driving.
What if I just want to achieve legendary? What then?
Then you may have to wait to some actual like life or death. You either have to drift this corner or we all die.
What if I want to try that right now?
Avi drift. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
I mean, do you want to risk knocking over one of the towers of the school?
No.
I wanna be where you be Tokyo.
No.
You are getting an invisible bonus for having driving gloves. I
Crap.
appreciate props like some sort of weird carrot top of the modern day.
Delightful.
Those are Crocs.
You get a negative for that. You
You
have
got
no grip.
grippers? You got grippers?
Put those grippers
Some
away!
grippers away.
I can never escape.
We are giggly tonight.
Very giggly.
That's so
It's
good.
the time change and the moon
Yeah.
and the stars. And I
You know-
take no responsibility for my actions.
Mercury's in retrograde.
Again.
Or-
Mercury's in the
or-
microwave.
What about Muckawee?
If you want the antidote, check under your chairs.
Uh-oh.
Ah,
What in the song?
anyway.
Nothing there.
I want to play
Why
a
is
game.
there oyster
I'm
crackers?
incurable.
Why is there a cup of beans under my chair?
You can never escape. Next
Not
week,
the
Bean
cup of
Golem.
bean.
Next week, just a Bean Golem.
I could do that in the Wild West campaign.
I would leave.
It would
Honey
totally work.
Madeline would
It
break
would
the
work.
fourth wall and
A
shoot you.
golem made out of cans of beans.
Honey
That would
That
Madeline
actually
actually is
be
dangerous.
accurate.
That's dangerous because those are
Camp-
hard.
A campsite golem.
It's beans. Beans for my family.
Beans for my family.
I was crazy once.
They put me in a room with rats.
Rats. Rats made me crazy. Crazy.
Oh god, we have lost the narrative again.
We did the ritual. What now?
Now
we're in
we're
the
into
third
the
month.
3rd and final month. Who wants to do their driving test?
I got
Oh
a
wait,
30.
that took us
Right.
8 times. Okay, yeah, I got a 25.
Trying to remember what I was having the DC is now. Hold on, let me check my little.
We gotta go back to that night.
Which night? Oh,
The vigilante night.
oh yeah. Okay, I was trying to
Nothing-
swerve you guys off of that.
Nothing comes of the vigilante night. It's just Igora being like edgy.
Actually, each
and
of you
enjoying
roll me a deception check. Or no, pardon me, stealth. Roll me a stealth check.
It's like this should be good. I have not
9.
good in
Jesus.
that.
43.
43.
All right, so here's the fun thing. With the combination of the poor stealth check and the good stealth check, you actually manage to scare the bejesus out of a few pamphlet handers out people in the city because they keep seeing Igora thinking he's hiding behind a box, but he's doing like the Tony Chopper thing where he's like leaning the wrong way against a box, so he's actually completely outside of it. But then they catch out of the corner of their eye a little something of Ophelia
yeah.
moving between like poles or something, and she disappears. So they're getting very confused because there's this very obvious thing, but then there is something that they can't see, even though no matter how much they look, and they get super freaked out and confused, and they get no pamphlets work done.
As they're running away,
bedazzled.
you just hear Frog Leg sends their regards. There we go.
Are you slandering your girlfriend?
Not my
What are you
girlfriend. Listen, she's in prison. It's not going to make her life any worse.
Oh, by the way, Igora, that letter you requested about conjugal visits has arrived.
Ew. No,
No,
Igor has
no.
never done that. Please do not. Please do
I'm
not put
gaslighting.
frogs in the Igor's mouth.
Spicy.
Given how Igora sleeps, you have no business saying those words.
Is there room for two in there?
No.
No.
I'd have to go into like one of their deeper stomachs. Well, you know, frogs have multiple stomachs that they can like upend one at a time.
Yes, thank
Or,
you.
you know, Bring out and wash. Thank you, Sue. Anyway. Yeah, so that evening, it's up to you to determine whether or not you were successful. You certainly freaked out a couple young people. Whether or not that drove them further into the cult or away from it, who's to say?
And then, we also deal with some petty crime, like a purse snatcher gets, like...
Oh, yeah. You
sucked
guys
in-
totally deal with a purse snatcher.
Gets, like, sucked into the invisible frog.
He looks up. Who are you?
I am the
Frog
frog
man.
that croaks in the night.
Wait, you're gonna die? Oh my god, are you okay?
No.
Oh, you meant literally croak.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Like,
It's-
do you only croak at night? Like, is it a condition? Or is it related
thought
to
it
the
was
moon? Are you aware, Gripply?
You see, I've been fighting evil by moonlight.
Again, are you, like, aware, Gripply? I'm getting a moon theme here.
I am.
And also, why is she bedazzled?
I am aware.
It just
I
works.
am aware. I am a Gripply.
I feel like we're not talking about the same thing.
Yeah, you
here.
literally
also,
were stealing someone's purse. Throws
Yeah,
it
but-
back.
but you see, they had it and I wanted it.
I'ma punch you.
What? You just
Okay,
knock this,
that's not-
you knock this petty thief out.
Kapow! To the lantern
Yeah.
people with you.
Yeah, I'll tie him up and just like put a note. Your friendly neighborhood frogman.
Ophelia, give me a performance check to start the urban myth of the frogman and his bedazzled shadow.
And the bedazzled bandit. Come on now.
All right, yeah. With a little work, with a limerick slipped to your bartender friend, something starts circulating amongst the populace.
Ophelia, we went full Darkwing Duck there.
That was so good.
Incredibly incompetent superhero with incredibly competent superhero that's doing all the work but doesn't get the credit.
But over the next couple days, you hear one group of students discussing a rumor that Froglegs actually has broken out of prison at night and is now trying to seek redemption.
Ah, see, look at that.
Yeah.
It's helping. We're
He's
helping Frog
working.
Legs. Yeah, we're done.
Yeah, help Froglegs, the criminal overlord and potential murderer.
We love frog legs.
We
We support
We
women's
support
wrongs.
women's rights and women's wrongs on this stream.
Women in STEM.
Women in stab.
That's
Stab
good.
them
This would
every
be-
minute. STEM.
Way more hilarious if I had even half a clue what you're talking about.
You guys never tell her about Froglegs?
I don't
Eric doesn't
believe
know
it's
about
come
frog
up.
legs.
Frog legs.
I don't-
is a Gripply.
To be fair, I don't want to know.
I mean, it's the hot goss from the city.
Okay,
He was a criminal overlord.
imagine if
Also a
Kingpin was a
Gripply.
frog.
A lady frog.
And we took
Okay,
her
that's all I
down.
need
And
to know.
Igor was
A
totally
hot
into her, but
lady
won't
frog.
say
Igara's
it.
not into
Oh,
other.
he's so into her.
Igara's not into other Gripplies. Igara's not attracted to Gripplies.
Oh,
Well,
who are you attracted to?
Igra, that's
That's
No, we're not going there.
that's
we're
gripless.
stepping away from this.
Like I'm just.
Also,
I'm
I don't need to know about your nighttime activities. Thank you very much. I
for
don't
fuck's
really
sake.
need to know
I
what you
do.
guys are
I'm
doing.
nosy.
I like the fact that you
Elegant
guys are having this
Gripply.
conversation as you're
I
walking
just-
to class one morning.
I don't. I'm just like. I'm just not that attracted to most people. Like physical attractiveness just isn't my thing. I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
not
no, I feel
just
that.
Gripply.
support you.
Like
I
just.
support that, but
I just don't
So
really
it's
have
not
like
just
any.
Gripply.
No, it's just like in general. I'm just not really attracted to anyone.
see the way you said it made it sound like you were
It
not
was
going
bad.
to date other Gripply, which is
I'm not going to date. Alvy, I know how
I
much
have-
of a fucking mess I am. I'm not going to date anyone.
I'm late for class, so I'll talk to you all later. and
Professor.
Charlotte's just like,
Bye.
Professor, should this potion be shaking?
yes. Did
Oh,
you
you
add
should-
enough hydrochloric acid?
You
and
should
walks
say
over
your
and grabs it from him.
hands. Your hands are shaky.
Oh,
Um,
I had too much espresso. It's the latest
And-
sensation sweeping the campus.
Ophelia kind of whispers to Igor and Avi.
I'm in
There
tears.
goes the one in the party who's the most likely to date someone.
Eat someone.
I could see Avi dating someone.
Name
Didn't
one
even say that with a
person.
straight
Who?
Zoom away to in the city, in a salon. Well, not a salon. In a shop. Lexi is actually strumming or doing a fiddle work to the song of "Makeover, Makeover, Makeover, Makeover," and Mercedes is very confused.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Make you look like attractive moose. Make all the male moose go.
What's a moose? Don't worry about it.
Makeover, makeover, makeover.
On like a fiddle.
All right, so
Poor Mercedes.
Bards are a menace.
is there
Yes.
anything else that we have to do around the school before going to space?
I mean, you guys have. Did anyone else want to do another driving, or who all has achieved master in driving?
I have achieved master in driving.
Put some shades on.
I rolled a 25.
I do. As
Yeah,
well,
unfortunately, I don't think a
actually.
25 will succeed.
30
30.
to get to expert.
Yes.
Ophelia is simply too pretty to drive. That's how
Thank
that
you,
works.
Avi. That is
I
such
can't
a
help
good
but feel like
compliment.
someone else should be doing this for me.
It's so true.
Hi, Emily.
I mean, I could use my hero point.
You could. $34. Okay, that's perfect.
What?
That's
I
performance.
didn't.
Yeah, sorry.
Matt,
That was the
Zoe,
joke,
Zoe
is I
didn't roll anything.
Okay, I
The
looked
joke-
over and
the
I
joke
saw
was-
performance. Yeah.
I fucking hate driving. I
Okay.
hate driving so much that when Will came down to visit, I was like, "Hey, you want to drive my car?"
It was so relaxing. I really miss driving on LA freeways.
That's how you know that Will is so fucking backwards. That's the craziest thing I've ever heard anyone say in my life. In my life.
I really
I
do.
love driving on Los Angeles freeways.
At
It's
nighttime,
relaxing.
It's so
This
relaxing.
psychopathic. Bring that up to your therapist, please. That's
To be
the
fair-
craziest thing I've
McKenna,
ever
wait,
heard.
wait,
Talking
McKenna.
about like late at night when
fair.
nobody's
do
there.
I
right,
do
Will?
that in the no, like when we were driving at like 9-10 p.m. like
Yeah,
Even-
and there was like nobody on the road.
yeah, and even like in like major traffic it's fine. It's just chill. You put an audiobook on, you relax, you drive. And McKenna, in what order should I bring that up to the therapist? Should I do that before or after the theme of characters that take parts of themselves away to make themselves stronger?
Before this is first priority.
Okay.
Oof.
Oofa doofa.
Cute. I love it.
All right. I should ask before we move on to the next event. Does anyone want to accomplish anything in those 2 weeks? You got your driving things done. You're teaching your classes. This is the last month before you guys are probably going to finalize any sort of planning for the expedition. There'll be a whole thing about that. But
I would very much like to double down on something I mentioned earlier and see about trying to send a missive to my family just as an update. I haven't sent or spoken with them since Webley arrived.
yes.
So I want to send a letter specifically addressed into the to my grandmother, informing her I received. But I would like to give vague wishes. How do I do this? Best way to put it. I would like to put specific details and verbiage as a test.
Are you going to say, I wanted to check how our dog Spot is doing, knowing that your family knows you've never had a dog named Spot?
In a way, yes. Very much that. But in the fashion of, things only Charlotte and her grandmother have ever discussed, just to get a gauge.
Hot tip for everyone, if you base a secret code on personal references and anecdotes baked into the language of the code, it is in fact impossible to crack because there's no cipher to crack and relies on previous knowledge that people only in your friend group can possess. Which is why that was a really cool episode of Star Trek, where even when the Universal Translator is working, they spoke entirely in references, and without the context, it's meaningless.
Correct.
Yeah, so you can totally do that. I'm not even make you roll for that. That's just a writing thing. You do know the last time you did it, any sort of letter to your family group is sort of going back to your hometown and is being sent on through them because they're the ones who sort of know where your grandma went because, you know, she wasn't doing great. Her health was kind of in decline, and your some of your family, like some of your cousins and some of your aunts and uncles, were taking your grandma off to try and find, you know, a really skilled healer or someone who had some sort of special medical knowledge to help. And last you sort of got the impression of they had found someone who was apparently able to help.
Yes, and I'm perfectly all right if it takes that time frame because I figure we're going to be a little bit busy in the next little while. So
the Megambia does offer the special service that their post service, at least to the first place that you send it, they can't guarantee how if it goes on to another point from there, is especially fast because they enchant the mail and it grows little wings. Yes, because don't send your post by owl. Owls are not fast flyers. It's a bad system.
It really is. They're slow. They swoop. They're swoopers.
They're very
They're also, yeah, exactly. They also have no sound from their flapping of their wings.
Stealth feathers.
Swooping.
Stealth feathers.
Bad.
Feathers.
Swooping.
Swooping
It's
is bad.
Bad.
Enchantment? Anyway.
Enchantment.
So yeah, that letter goes off. Enchantment. Is that Yuri Lowenthal? Enchantment?
I don't know. I have to look that up.
It's so strange. I think it is. It's such a small,
don't
odd part for him.
I know.
Anyone else want to get anything done in those 2 weeks? Yes.
There's actually a couple things, and this could have been something that I was working on the whole time. I want to get down and dirty in the library, trying to figure out what that knife do.
Down in the dirty of the library, abuse that card index all night long.
On that note, it is Yuri Lowenthal.
I knew it.
Oh,
I know
okay.
that voice anywhere.
And there's one other thing I want to do, but we can take care of that first.
All right, so
You're going to take
explain
a
to me
stab
what
at figuring out
exactly
this
you're
one?
looking for.
Oh, it's probably such a wide net to start with because there
That's
are
the problem with
so
research.
many magical knives, and unfortunately, I didn't get a tutorial from Mercedes before she went and nuked all of her memories.
Oopsie noopsie.
Oopsie noopsie. So
Oopsie.
that's why I was like, I could have been working on this for the whole last 3 months.
I just did a
because
little
think I'm
visual reaction. Hee hee.
going to have to start with like magic knives and whittle it down from there.
Let's
Yeah.
see. What would we roll for research?
If
I
only
do
there were rules
have
for research.
I have academia lore. I could also argue
Well-
that this is an occult item and that I would like to roll occultism.
That is actually perfectly fine for occultism. If you want to do an occultism roll, library lore is more about library itself.
Everything.
You
Occultism,
better.
46. You better
All right.
work.
So,
You better. 46.
putting together what you know of the knife based on what you've been told, your own observations, its appearance and the like. First thing you learn, this knife is pretty ancient. Based in fact on its stone kind of construction, it is not only meant to be a very simple kind of in its function, it was crafted in much simpler times. This is not, ancient silversmiths with inlaid mithril and the tiniest little magical runes that you need a magnifying glass to examine or something. No, this is a sharpened wedge of rock with some scratched in runes that are still quite powerful because of the heavy magic that was put into them back when magic was still young. You find sort of no specific entry on this knife specifically. Actually, give me a perception check.
Oh, 46. I still have to roll perception. That's a nat 20! Yes!
Okay. I'm so happy you rolled a nat 20.
McKenna is
So-
now
Me
two
too.
for McKenna is now 2 for 2 in the last week of rolling natural 20 to get lore stuff.
Tell me quickly, what's the story? Tell me what and why and where.
So you are going through these books about magical items. You narrow it down to magical weapons. You narrow it down to magical blades, small magical blades, ancient small magical blades, known to work on a more spiritual level rather than destructive or something. And you're like, yes, I'm getting closer. I'm narrowing things down. I'm finding out details. And you get to a shelf in the library. And there is a hole.
Yup.
There is a gap in the books on the shelf, and there is dust in this particular gap. But, here's the thing. This is a library. There are records of who took out books.
I don't need to ask. I will anyway, for posterity's sake.
You know it was Endures in Darkness? No,
What-
I'm
if
joking.
if it's not Kiara, I will buy edible dice and eat them.
I mean,
string.
now I'm tempted. I'm surprised you don't have edible dice already. You, of all
Honestly,
people?
so am I. So am I.
You know,
I mean,
all
technically,
dice are
all of my
ones.
dice are edible once.
Once, yeah. Oh god, the sharp resin ones. Oh god, no.
The ones that specifically say I will not eat the dice on the bottom of the dice carton.
But
I don't know. My dice be looking
you-
pretty
you
edible
are,
right now.
because you rolled well with cultists and because you rolled with perception, you realize that yes, a specific volume that might deal with this specific type of magic weapon is missing, but there are still other books. There are other books that you manage because you rolled a 43 in perception and occultism. I'm combining
nat
these into
20.
a fun soup. Yeah, nat soup. You use all your library lore and stuff like, okay, I'm going to approach this from a different angle. I'm going to find a book that talks about the knife but isn't the focus of the book and thus might have been missed in someone trying to remove information on the knife. It takes you a while longer. This is going to take you several sleepless nights for this full 2 weeks. Avi's looking a real rough to all of you by the end of this 2 weeks, but she's got this
Is that
fire
kind
in
of
her eyes.
manic? Like her fur is all askew. She's got one ear that's
You-
twitching a little bit, but she's so excited.
You are like a day away from like, okay, if I conscript my entire class as a workforce, I could get this done. But then you do find a volume that specifically deals with magic blades that are known to have effects other than cutting flesh specifically. It's a bit of an esoteric work. It's very specific, and that's probably why it was missed. And you do notice that along the way a few other books missing, but this one was not missed. Now, what is a question you want answered? What are you looking for specifically?
How to use it without hurting people.
Well, here's the thing. A knife is meant to sever. It is meant to cut. It is meant to cleave. Whether or not that is interpreted as harming,
The intention is irrelevant.
Well, no, the intention is not necessarily. The intent matters with these kind of knives because they don't cut flesh and everything. These kind of, like you read about, like one sword that was supposed to be able to cut sorrow, one that only ever interacts with bone. So, It goes through armor. It goes through flesh. Like like wind only hits bone.
Ouch.
It's a very feared sword. But the reference that on this list of interesting ones, the stone that are the stone spirit severer. That is not its proper name, but that is what is referred to in these books. It is meant to cut at the complicated web that is someone's spirit and soul. And that there's a lot of things wrapped up in that when it talks about it. There's a whole little subsection about this. Like, this can sort of select what it cuts based on the intent. The intent matters when used it. It is theorized that this could cut the darkness from someone. So like it could cut out pain. It could cut out memories. It could cut out love. It could cut it could cut the very essence of someone in two and potentially make two different people. Admittedly, from the same person. But it was never recorded that this was accomplished in the book because people are terrified of doing that. But it is very possible that you could take, I want to sever this person from their ambition. And it creates a creature that is entirely ambition and someone who has no ambition. Or, cut someone's fear out of them. But that it only cuts, it does not destroy. So the thing that is severed has to go somewhere.
I think part of what I meant by that is using it without hurting someone. I'm, in a very literal sense, I'm assuming you can't just stab the person you want to affect with this without physically harming them with the blade.
Remind me, are you, you have this thing in front of you?
It is probably safely tucked away in a couple of layers of blankets and whatnot in the bag of holding.
I mean,
I could take it out and look at it in the library.
What is the essence? You know what? You have reached the end of this hard 2 weeks. You're sleep deprived. You've got this excitement building in. You finally managed to figure something out. But you are a academic. You are a researcher. You have a keen analytical mind, and the one way you know how to figure things out is through experimentation.
Son of a bitch.
And that knife is sitting there on the counter. Maybe like some late night you brought it out to look at it as you're doing your research to make sure you're looking at the same thing in the book. You could, if intent matters, what's something you could live without?
Clearly not sleep. Clearly I've worked myself to a point where I'm about to take a big step.
It should also be noted that you kind of realize, we could have potentially, if we had known that Mercedes' thing was possibly an exterior force, like a spiritual parasite, we could have used this. That thought had
just crossed my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, that thought had crossed my mind as well, but I was like, well, too late now.
Like, if there's some, like a collection of souls clumped together or something, they can...
I want to find a way... So basically what you're saying is there's no information on how to
I mean, it talks in very, sadly, very unacademic terms. It's about feeling. It's about focusing your will. I need a step-by-step procedure, please. I need, press clock and then put hour and minute into because the time moved ahead for some stupid reason.
Yup. I was afraid that was going to be the final answer, but
you are moving into the realm of spirits and souls here. There is not very concrete stuff.
You know who else deals in not very concrete stuff? My patron.
Okay.
which was incidentally the next stop on my farewell tour.
All right.
I don't know if I don't mind going over if y'all don't, but I don't want to
Do
keep
your
anyone
thing.
here.
Does anyone have anything else they wanted to do this week?
Yeah.
Do your thing, Avi.
All right.
It's just like a mood. All right. At some point, then, probably the day after, I have that thought of like, I could just cut a piece of myself away and experiment with this. Avi thinks you might have a problem with that. Besides me, is
I
my
mean-
patron.
I mean, do you need your exhaustion?
It's not that I need my exhaustion, except for I do, because it teaches me when to sleep, and I could go crazy if I didn't do that. But also, then I would be creating a creature that was fundamentally exhausted all the time, and that kind of sucks. Also, I don't know how reincarnation works for a Fae if a piece of their soul's been shaved off.
I mean,
So
you could answer these questions and get so much done without your hunger. Think how what you could do. Give me a will save, by the way.
Do we see any of this happening?
He is in her room late at night. 34.
I'll take a 34.
So, you know how I've been saying these things right now? You realize this is not my voice in my head, and you look over and you're like, oh,
I was
it
just about to
wants to
ask.
be used.
Oh, what a fascinating little creature you are. You are a little sentient thing all on your own. That's fun.
Sentient might be a strong word.
At
It
this
has
point,
a purpose. It has a purpose. It seems like it wants to do its purpose a lot. Maybe.
it is still in that kind of suspended box that Mercedes had it in.
Yeah.
In the interest of not touching it until I know what happens when I do that, I will
I
not
mean,
be
it
touching
looks,
it.
even with the will save you made, the handle looks so comfortable. It's such smooth stone, well worn.
It just fits so well in my tiny, tiny hand.
Yeah.
Avi
And you
needs to
know-
hold it like this.
And you know, both Igra and Ophelia have been pretty aggressive about dealing with the cult. You could do something about that.
Aw.
I love when people do things by their own with magical artifacts.
Gee, it sure would be too bad if Avi went to find us in our room sleeping and found out that nobody was there.
More vigilante.
They're all
Except
vigilantes
Charlotte,
except for
Charlotte is sleeping quite nicely. Actually, I'm pretty sure Charlotte is up late because Charlotte
Did
is in her
Mercedes-
apothecary den.
Did Mercedes ever move in with us?
Good question.
Not in this 2 weeks.
Oh, in the 2
no.
weeks.
Okay.
She's still considering it.
You
We
would
have a-
need stuff to move in with.
We could
She's
help her
baby.
move. We have a Gamma Hall.
Bum, bum, ba-dum, bum.
Bum.
Yeah, let's quickly zero in on what you wanted to do.
I will probably put that away for the evening, and in the morning, seek out Enders in Darkness for.
But think of all the things you
a
could
spore.
go.
A spore says,
Night, night, good night. You're so silly.
I'm so scared of what would have happened if I had failed that will save.
Charlotte in her apothecary, like doing some like testing, just stops, looks up, and goes, "Somebody's doing a somewhat bad thing right now."
I mean, it's a school. There's probably a lot of that happening constantly.
Yes, but this is much darker than I'm used to. I can feel it in the air. I know dark things. I've been studying them.
All right, McKenna. What you doing?
One of the things that I had brought up a couple weeks ago, I think, was the possibility that, like I said, Fae get reincarnated, and there is a distinct possibility that one of Avi's past lives possibly has information regarding any of what she's dealing with, especially Kiara. I think the thought process was she may actually be so much older than she appears, which is not something Avi, who is around 50 years old, had considered because she looks young. That this whole god business probably has been taking place for a while. Matt's your eyes just went on a whole journey, and I don't know what to make of it. You did this.
That's funny because I was trying to picture something in my mind. I contain multitudes.
You do. It
Which
was
is
a
funny for a
fascinating
reason.
journey.
Which is funny for a reason which will become obvious very quickly.
Okay, fun. Well, I sit myself down. I get in my little meditation pose. We spore box the room. And radical. And get down to it.
All right, so you go to that place, that kind of empty space that you can summon the stones, the runes, which give you portents of things that have happened and things that may happen or things that are happening. And for a moment, there is nothing. It is the empty space. It is the waiting. And then you think you spy in the distance a rune on a small stone, a little cairn that looks like it would be like a personal rune of yours, but scuffed and old and maybe a little weather-beaten. And you feel like there might be something to that.
Absolutely. I skip over and I take a look.
As you move towards it, though,
Uh-oh.
a great stone monolith drops from the sky in front of you, and on it is a rune that implies gateways and passages and doors, and light bursts forth from this rune, and you feel this is not like most of your readings. This is not a nice, friendly kind of thing. And then there seems to be things spilling from the red light that you can't quite see properly because the red light is blinding you somewhat, but you feel shapes moving across your feet and up your legs. Little inching little things with biting teeth.
Yes. I take wing.
And you actually pop out of your thing, and you get a little bit of insight glimming from this, coming at that there is something obscuring other visions because of the enormity of something coming.
Yeah. That whole thing with the door and the portal, that whole thing. Oh, we're dealing with that.
Yeah. And that's where we're going to end things this week, because your vision is being blocked by the enormity of what's coming.
The enormity of the future.
Yes.
Biting ants, they bite you.
Thank you all so much for coming to tonight's episode of Will.exe is rebooting. Thank you all so much for coming to tonight's episode of the Strength of Thousands Adventure Path here on twitch.tv/tabletop rolls. Join us on Wednesday for Wild Ambition, Friday for the Astral Calling, and who knows, maybe we'll all get some sleep. Have a good night, everyone.
Haha, let's sleep.